You may think that TikTok is something new. Pick up your phone, open it up, and see what's on. Swipe until you find something you like. We know it's popular with 50 million daily active users in the US. It's one of the most popular apps out there. And as with anything that popular, it must have an effect on its users. And it does. A new term was coined, TikTok brain. It affects our attention spans, promotes addictive tendencies, it disrupts our sleep, makes us perform worse in school. It causes eating disorders, mental health issues, images of fights, tragedy, unattainable beauty. People with TikTok brain can become so disturbed, they might even delete themselves. But is it the platform or the content? Is TikTok the problem, or is it us? Swiping has been around for quite a while, but until TikTok came along, it was known as flipping.
7-function, remote-control color television, so beautiful it enhances any decor. Clean, modern styling.
What is flipping? Well, it was something I did pretty much every day. It was a mainstay of most Americans' entertainment diet. I'd get home from school, lay on the couch, and flip through the channels to see what was on. It was essentially TikTok, but it only existed in a big box in the living room I shared with the rest of my family, and there were only 50 channels. Nickelodeon was my main channel, but sometimes I'd switch over to others like Disney, the Family Channel, or Fox if it was playing cartoons. Flipping through the channels had an addictive quality. I really wanted to do it. I mean, why not? It was easy enough, and one of my favorite shows might be on. But much like TikTok today, TV had a bad reputation. TV was known as the boob tube, the idiot box. They would say TV rots your brain. People who watched too much of it were junkies, addicted, mindless zombies just flipping through the channels, wasting their life. And it's not like my parents were any different, telling me to turn off the TV and go outside. One of my bigger punishments was when my brother and I refused to go to church because Nicktoons were on. The punishment? No TV for 2 weeks. It was awful. But why was TV so derided? It always felt like the cheaper medium. TV shows were trash, fluff. Even TV stars who made it to the movies never came back. Robin Williams, Tom Hanks, George Clooney, Woody Harrelson, Bruce Willis, all had their starts on TV, but once they made it to the movies, they wouldn't touch television with a 10-foot pole. Movies had a much better reputation than TV. Movies had prestige. Movies were art. Movies had stars and red carpets. Everyone watched the Oscars. Movies had auteurs and masterpieces. TV just had the Emmys. But why? Did worse writers and directors and producers work for TV shows? Did TV shows have worse actors? Less money? It's simple. It's science. It's the flipping.
Mom, I just want you to know that no matter how difficult it is to stop our television addiction, that I couldn't agree with you more.
Why, thank you, Ferguson.
You know when you really want to do something, that feeling you get? That big motivation that removes all doubt that what you're about to do might not work? Or have you ever felt the opposite, where you just don't want to do anything?
I've seen worse.
That feeling links back to a neurotransmitter in your brain called dopamine. That feeling of wanting to do something. A lot of times you'll hear terms like dopamine rush, but it's not like snorting cocaine or taking a big bong rip. It's more the feeling that picking up the bong is a good idea. It doesn't even feel like anything, it just is. And that feeling is more delicate than you think. Because one property of our brain's relationship with dopamine is it's going to do the thing that takes the least amount of work to get it. And there's hardly any less work than pressing a button on a remote or swiping up on your phone. So if you could get that dopamine by just sprawling out sideways on the couch and mindlessly pushing a button, why would you pick up your guitar and learn some chords?
Hey, how come you never play your guitar anymore?
I wasn't good at it right away, so I quit. I hope you're not mad.
Son, come here. Of course I'm not mad. If something's hard to do, then it's not worth doing. You just stick that guitar in the closet, and we'll go inside and watch TV.
What's on?
It doesn't matter.
This Simpsons clip, let's be real, is still hilarious, but it really hits a nerve because it shines a light on a very real thing. The problem is, when you feel that wanting for doing essentially nothing, you get nothing for it. No wonder people who watched too much TV were known as addicts, junkies, and the same goes for TikTok. Feeling depressed is often a self-fulfilling prophecy, which is very hard to break out of. Going to the gym would help, but why not just sit at home getting fulfillment from flipping? Going out and seeing friends would help, but instead you're watching a show about a bunch of friends hanging out. It's so much easier to just stay inside and not try. But you do have the motivation. It's just being wasted on flipping. The question then becomes, is TikTok worse than TV? To answer that question, we can go back to the question we asked before. Why did movies have a better reputation than TV? And when it all comes down to it, the platform is everything. Dopamine is never satisfied. It always wants more. If you press a button and it gives you 5s, then press the button again and gives you a 20, you'll never be satisfied with a 5 again. But the wanna, it'll be tenfold. We've all gotten this feeling. When you're used to getting 100 likes on your photos, but then one gets 200, suddenly 100 isn't good enough. What did I do to get that 200? What should I do to get that 200? That incentive drives us to do what it takes to get that 200 again, and the same principle applies to TV and movies and really all content. People making movies worked on one incentive: get you to the theater and deliver a compelling experience, compelling enough for you to tell your friends to go too. It had time to build to an amazing climax. Leaving a theater was a much bigger commitment than changing the channel. TV was readily available, right there, and choosing a program was as easy as pressing a millimeters thick button. So content creators responded to that incentive and created cheap, easy, sensational content that would keep you watching. There's a reason every TV show had a cliffhanger before every commercial break. Not because it's good writing, but because it'll keep you watching past the commercial break. Films were designed for the medium of the movie theater. They weren't built to exist on a television screen next to hundreds of other programs that were one button click away. TV was less about what was on and more about what else was on.
Men flip around the television more than women, I think. Men get that remote control in their hands. They don't even know what the hell they're not watching. You know what I mean? Just keep going, even don't want to watch it. Hey, what are you watching? I don't care, I gotta keep going. Who was that? I don't know what it was, doesn't matter.
The brain rot quality of TV came from creators adjusting their programming to the needs of the platform. It's why you go on a first date to a coffee shop or a restaurant and not a singles bar. The medium drives the content. At a coffee shop, your date isn't competing with anyone else, so they can be more their real, complex selves. At a singles bar, no one is relying on their deep, complex personalities. They're showing a little skin to get your attention. So now your date has to be more fun, more witty, and more attractive than everyone else on a surface level, or else the other people are going to totally take your focus. So that means your date is going to have to adjust to the medium and show a little skin to keep your attention. And when it comes to TV, a little skin meant trashy talk shows.
Whoa! Welcome back. Hey, my guests today say they can't get married until they confess the secrets they've been hiding from their lovers. Okay, please meet David.
Trash TV talk shows knew that you'd be flipping through the channels and used a bunch of tactics you see on TikTok to get you to stop. Serial flippers would have to ignore sensational titles like Racist Moms, Oops, I Cheated Again, or My Sister Slept with My 3 Husbands. I was too young to be interested in Sally Jessy Raphael, Geraldo Rivera, Montel Williams, and especially Jerry Springer. Jerry was notorious for fights breaking out on stage. Maury Povich was famous for the paternity test reveal.
Let's get one thing straight. Marco is the father of my twin daughters, Lauren and London. Yes, they're light-skinned. Yes, they have straight hair. And yes, both of their parents are black.
The bigger, the better. And each episode had to be bigger than the last. Trash TV got worse and worse until someone actually died from a sensational segment on Jenny Jones. In 1995, a man came on the show expecting to be met with his secret admirer. And he was. The problem was, his admirer was another man. Great for television, but deadly for the admirer. The guest killed him days later and was sentenced to 22 years in prison. The scandal blew up and talk shows changed forever. Even Jerry Springer, the worst of them all, had to tone it down. Anyone who works in television will tell you, the bigger, the better. If that interview subject isn't embellishing their feelings, if they're not giving you big emotion, if they're not talking shit about their friend, make them. Produce them. Get good bites, no matter the cost. The internet is no doubt a net positive, but that damn dopamine hit is all but impossible to avoid. Sure, it's bad if TV has no chance to flourish because of it. TV isn't that important. But what about when it ruins something much more important? Like the news. Way back before televisions even, you got your news from one source, the newspaper. And newspapers only had one opportunity to get your dopamine going, and that was with the headline. Once you got a newspaper, it was up to you what stories you read. No one made any money based on whether you flipped to the sports section or the entertainment section. They already got your money. Outside of the headline, stories could just exist without any embellishment, without any sensationalism. They didn't have to catch your attention while flipping, so you just stop and read. But now, that's all the news, all the time. Flipping and news are hand in hand in an unholy union that should make you shudder in your boots. Sure, it's bad if TV is trash, but if the news is trash, that leads to a lot worse. Flipping means the news has to resort to trash TV talk show tactics. They have to make every headline as sensationalist as possible to get you to stop, which makes you mad about something that might not even be true. And not in a "I can't believe Michael cheated on Charlotte" kind of way, in a "let's burn down the mall" kind of way. It's no wonder people think things are worse than they ever have been when statistically things are better. And since newspapers need clicks more than they need to be accurate, they'll choose to manipulate emotions that they know their audience has. Just like a TV producer making their interview subject brag on something when they would never brag in real life. And that leads to one side sensationalizing one thing one way and the other side sensationalizing the same thing but the other way. And as our worlds continue to drift apart, it gets harder and harder to talk to each other. And the sad truth is, the only way to fix this is to actually pay for the news, to shell out some cash and pay for a subscription to the New York Times, the Washington Post, the Wall Street Journal. The less they rely on having to grab your attention with every headline, the more objective their stories can be. Get rid of flipping, the content gets decidedly better. Just look what happened with TV.
I am not in danger, Skylar. I am the one who knocks.
The reason for the low quality of TV programming was flipping. It's the nature of the television. By 2000, there were thousands of channels. Sure, a lot of them were just music channels, soccer, or in Spanish, but hundreds were channels I would definitely watch, if only something was on. And I'm not saying all TV was trash, by any means. There were some diamonds in the rough, like Seinfeld, The X-Files, Twin Peaks, Roots. The Simpsons is one of the greatest shows of all time, and a lot of its premise was lampooning what TV does to people and what it does to content. But TV did turn around, as we all know. We've already passed the golden age of television. I think it's in our rear view. And the reason that this was possible was that the medium changed. Flipping requires live channels to flip between. As DVRs became more popular in the aughts, people could record shows and watch them from beginning to end, never missing an episode. They could fast forward commercials, and they also couldn't flip. If you tried to change the channel during a recorded show, you'd lose the show. It wouldn't pause to come back to, and it wouldn't keep running while you checked out what else was on. You chose to watch the show. It didn't just happen to be on. But that wasn't the biggest change. The biggest change was streaming. Streaming made flipping a thing of the past entirely. Now you have a catalog of shows all for free that you can just choose from. And you're either watching it or you're not. But now we have a different problem. What do we watch? We've got 1,000 shows to choose from, and a lot of the time it takes longer to pick something than it does to actually watch the thing. And that leads us to another issue. Now that the content is good, does that mean TV is any better for us?
Okay, listen. One episode, and then we go to dessert.
Wow.
Okay, it was good.
That's so well done.
Do we have time to watch one more, you think?
I think so. What?
Now, that is crazy. So let's get in our PJs, and then we'll watch one more.
Okay, one more. So good. How is it so good?
What time is it?
Every yin has a yang, and the yin to flipping's yang is binging. It's the exact opposite. Binging requires no thought at all, just like flipping, except instead of swiping through a bunch of videos for hours, you're watching episode after episode of a show for hours. And it's a tempting proposition. Choosing a show is so difficult, it's nice to actually just choose one and then not think about it for a few weeks. But binging has the same exact issues as flipping. The easy dopamine hit is there. You wanna watch the next episode. It makes you stay up late, not work on other stuff. You're improving your life just as little as you would be if you were flipping or swiping. But the content is good, so that's better. Right? Maybe. Breaking Bad is a fantastic show with amazing writing and directing and acting, and the story is genius, the twists, everything, but you're still not doing anything. Maybe part of the reason movies are still better than TV, even if they're the same quality-wise, is that with the movie, you can just get in, get out. 2 hours of your life down, and now you can take whatever feeling the movie gave you and run with it. That makes me think of a question. Do you ever watch a movie in your car, at the gym, on the toilet? Because even if we have great content, part of the issue is where we can watch it. TikTok, YouTube, Netflix, streaming. Part of the reason it's so damaging to us now, way more so than it had been before, is because they're all available on our phones. Our phones that we can take anywhere. Once we watch a show on the toilet once, we're not satisfied unless we're always watching a show on the toilet. It goes back to dopamine. Dopamine always wants more. And once that wanna feeling applies to wanting to be distracted, we're going to want to distract ourselves all the time. While we're cooking, while we're driving. I bought a phone mount for my shower. I thought waterproof phones would be a good thing, but if it means the next time I go for a dip in the pool, there's nothing stopping me from checking out the latest episode of Euphoria, maybe it's not a good thing. Even while I'm falling asleep, I'm putting on a YouTube video. Have you ever felt bored while you're trying to fall asleep? It doesn't even make any sense, but it happens to me all the time. Once you're able to be distracted in one place, that wanna feeling never goes away. Any moment of stillness is an opportunity to distract yourself. And that's a big problem. Where's the dopamine left to get you to actually do something? One advantage of a movie, I don't think I've ever really watched one on my phone while I'm driving, or in the shower, or on the toilet. TV, TikTok, YouTube, all that content is just on. But for some reason, a movie demands my attention. Maybe it's the structure of the movie, the length. In a movie, you miss something, it's a big deal, but not as big a deal if you miss a part of one episode that's 6 seasons long. And TikTok is different because it's specifically designed to be watched everywhere, all the time. If you have your phone, you can watch TikTok, and there's no barrier to entry. Absolutely none. You don't have to choose anything. TikTok chooses for you until it hooks you, and there's no escape. It's a combination of bad incentives for creators, whose only incentive is to get you to stop and watch and then keep watching, and bad incentive for watchers who are subject to a program whose sole purpose is to stimulate your wanna. It's a slot machine of videos. The feeling that maybe the next video will be great gets your wanna to keep going. The content is specifically designed to be exactly like those trashy talk shows on TV, to get you to stop and watch and keep watching. TikTok doesn't have to be bad. I handle my TikTok addiction very well. I was addicted for about a month. I lost sleep over it. It was mostly TV show clips, but then somehow I just stopped. My addiction is YouTube. But is YouTube more healthy or less healthy? YouTube enables me to put on a video and do chores, and a lot of times the chores are needed to be done, and a lot of times the video is informative. Sometimes it's about the fourth dimension, other times it's about the origin of the PlayStation, and other times it's Jungian philosophy or a video about the dangers of vegetable oils. YouTube is about as good for you as anything. Ask yourself, if you're listening to a video about some deep intellectual topic while vacuuming, how much of that topic are you actually comprehending and learning? So many times I've put on a video I'm interested in and then after 3 minutes realized that I wasn't even listening. It goes from information to distraction, and then we become distracted from listening to the distraction. I know what you're thinking. I'll never feel as happy as this stock footage lady, and the nearest wheat field is miles away. How can I use my phone as little as she probably does? First of all, it might not be as dramatic as I laid out. There's nothing wrong with going to work, coming home, and binging so you can turn off your brain a little. But if you're someone like me who has to remain motivated to work on side hustles to make ends meet, or if you're a student who could be studying more, Or if you find yourself spending all your time swiping on your phone, then it's probably a good idea to evaluate your media consumption. One solution is something I'm sure you've heard 100 times but never tried. Meditation. Mindfulness meditation. It sounds complicated, but it's literally just sitting in a comfortable position for a time where you just sit. You can keep your eyes open or you can keep them closed. Every time you breathe in, you think, breathe in, and every time you breathe out, think, breathe out. Then each time you do it for longer. You can start with 1 minute, 5 minutes, as long as you start and do it every day. Anytime you have a thought, think to yourself, this is a thought, and let it go, focusing again on your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. And you will have thoughts. Our 2023 brains are programmed to never stop thinking. But meditation is a kind of reset. It's practice. We're practicing not being distracted. Because all day we're practicing being distracted. So if you got this far and you're still paying attention, let's try it for 1 minute. For 1 minute of this video, I'm not going to say anything. I'm just going to sit here and breathe with you. Every time you breathe in, think breathe in. And every time you breathe out, think breathe out. And once the minute is over, I'll let you know. So again, make sure you're in a comfortable position. Your eyes can be open or closed. Every time you breathe in, think breathe in. And when you breathe out, think breathe out. That'll prevent you from having thoughts. But if you do have thoughts, just realize you're having a thought and then go back to focusing on your breath. Breathe in, breathe out. Okay? Go. Okay, we're done. Ooh, after all that talking, meditating is hard. But I did find that I was thinking a lot about how I was standing, thinking about what I was going to say next. And it wasn't the easiest thing in the world, but we just did it. Look at us. We're one step closer to doing it every day. So is TikTok bad? Is YouTube bad? Is TV bad? Yes, unless you do it in moderation. Distracting ourselves with our phones is the easiest thing to do in the world, and stopping ourselves from doing it is extremely difficult. And you might be fine with it. You might have a good life. You're productive enough, you see friends, have experiences, but maybe not. Social media is not easy to quit, especially TikTok, especially YouTube, because you have whole departments whose only purpose is to make you keep watching. Now that you know some of the ways it's affecting your life, I hope it's easier to break out of the habit. I'm Daniel Paul. Thanks for watching. I hope you enjoyed this video as much as I enjoyed making it, and if you did, make sure to leave a like. Somehow I broke out of my distractions, all the media around me all the time to sit down and get this done. If I can do it, you can do it. Comment what makes you distracted, and what's the weirdest place you've had your phone out. Mine's probably the shower. And subscribe if you like long-form content like this, as I would love to do a lot more videos in this style, and I respond to incentives just like everybody else. So I hope to see you again soon.